He married me 3 weeks before Christmas. Everyone said I was lucky. The timing, the ring. But love doesn't move that fast, unless it has a deadline. On Christmas Eve, I heard something I was never supposed to hear. A phone call, a name, and a sentence that made my hands go cold. I didn't cry. I didn't confront him. I smiled, because whatever he thought this marriage was, he had no idea I wasn't the one about to lose. The morning of the wedding, the city glittered like it knew secrets I didn't yet fully understand. Elena Brooks adjusted her veil, staring at the reflection in the mirror. Every detail, crystals, lace, satin, looked flawless, but something in her stomach twisted. Nathan Whitmore waited at the altar, smiling perfectly, his tuck sharp, his confidence magnetic. Everyone whispered about how lucky I was. But I noticed the way his jaw tightened when his phone buzzed. Tiny cracks hiding behind charm. Guests clinked glasses in the grand ballroom, the air heavy with perfume, celebration, and subtle judgment. Laughter floated. Some directed at me, some whispered, too quiet for most to catch. I smiled politely, playing the part of the perfect bride, while my mind cataloged everything. The ceremony passed in a blur of vows, applause, and exchanged glances. But during the reception, I caught a glimpse of Nathan's secretive messages, the furtive call he took behind the florist stand. My suspicion tightened. I let the night flow, pretending innocence, observing every smirk, every glance, every whispered word. They thought they were untouchable. They had no idea I was watching, learning, and already planning. By the end of the night, one thought settled firmly in my mind. This marriage wasn't just a wedding. It was a game, and I was about to change the rules. The day after the wedding, the mansion felt quieter, almost too quiet. Elena Brooks walked through the halls, polished floors reflecting the golden Christmas lights, while Nathan Whitmore busied himself with calls and arrangements. Everything looked perfect, but Elena noticed the subtleties, the small cracks he couldn't hide. Nathan spoke rapidly into his phone, words clipped and urgent. He glanced at her once, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. She caught fragments, deadline, inheritance. Before Chris, even the same old charm now sounded rushed, nervous, and guests and family were supposed to arrive in days, and every detail Nathan orchestrated seemed designed for appearances, not love. Elena observed silently, cataloging every interaction, the way he flinched at messages, the way his hand shook slightly while signing papers, the fleeting hesitation when Mira whispered in his ear. By dinner, Elena had already pieced together more than anyone realized. She wasn't shocked, she was calculating. Every hurried action, every secretive glance, every polite smile was a puzzle, and she was solving it fast. She laughed softly to herself in the quiet of the study, knowing she had the advantage. But patience was key. One wrong move, and suspicion could ruin everything. Late that night, Elena spotted a phone notification peeking from Nathan's jacket, an email that would confirm everything she suspected. But opening it now would be reckless. Or would it? The mansion glittered with festive lights, but Elena Brooks felt a chill that had nothing to do with winter. Nathan Whitmore paced the study, phone pressed to his ear, voice low and urgent. Every word he spoke pierced through the Christmas music drifting from the grand hall. Before December 25th, must be married, legally clean. Elena froze. Her hands tightened around the edge of the marble countertop. She had overheard enough. The marriage wasn't love, it was a deadline, a legal formality, a multi-million-dollar game she hadn't agreed to. But she didn't react. She didn't storm out. She didn't confront him. Instead, she walked away calmly, letting him speak, letting him reveal himself. Every gesture, every hurried phrase, every flinch as he checked the time was recorded in her mind. Back in her room, she pulled her phone from the pocket of her dress and opened an email she'd secretly been monitoring, a confirmation of everything she had just overheard. It wasn't just suspicion anymore, it was fact. A soft smile curved her lips. She had the leverage now. The countdown wasn't just for him, it was for the game she was about to play. Elena sent a single, subtle message to the family lawyer, a silent warning that the rules were about to change. But Nathan had no idea the storm was coming. Elena Brooks sat in her room, Christmas lights casting soft reflections across the floor. She had the knowledge now, and knowledge was power. Every line Nathan had spoken, every document she had seen, it all formed a blueprint she could use. She opened the legal documents, her eyes scanning the clauses carefully. The marriage had to be legally valid before December 25th, and Nathan's careless oversight made it vulnerable. Every deadline, every rule, every loophole became her arsenal. Her fingers traced the papers as she whispered to herself, plotting each move. There would be no rash actions, no dramatic confrontations. Timing was everything. One wrong step and the advantage would slip away. She reviewed Nathan's habits, his meetings, the people he trusted blindly. Mira's loyalty, the family lawyer's routine, even the smallest assistant he overlooked, every detail mattered. She began crafting a plan, silent but lethal, a chess game in motion. By the end of the night, Elena's smile was subtle but firm. She was no longer just a bride in a rush, she was the strategist. The countdown had begun, not just for Nathan, but for the entire inheritance scheme. Elena set a single reminder in her phone: move before dawn. Nathan won't see it coming. The first step of the trap was ready, but the next move had to be perfect. The next morning, Elena Brooks moved through the mansion with effortless grace. Nathan Whitmore was already in his study, talking to the family lawyer, unaware she had been listening to every word for hours. She smiled politely, brushed past him, and adjusted the Christmas decorations with a casual elegance that hid her scheming mind. Breakfast with the family was a display of perfection. Laughter, compliments, and polite conversation flowed as if nothing was wrong. Elena nodded, sipped her coffee, and let Nathan bask in the illusion that he still controlled the game. Every glance she gave him, every subtle tilt of her head, was a quiet reminder that she knew. She noticed the tension in his smile, the fleeting hesitation when he thought she wasn't paying attention, and the tiny slip of annoyance when Mira attempted to coach him through the morning. Elena's mind raced, planning every step with precision. Legal clauses, deadlines, witnesses, she had cataloged it all. Her calm exterior was a mask, hiding the storm she was about to unleash. By noon, the first move of her plan was ready. Nathan thought he was winning, thought he was clever, but Elena had already positioned the first domino in a sequence that would topple his empire. As Nathan left for a meeting, Elena glanced at her phone, a subtle message drafted to the lawyer, waiting for the perfect moment. One click, and everything would shift. By late afternoon, Elena Brooks had everything in place. She had reviewed every clause, every loophole, and every document Nathan had hurriedly signed. The marriage was legally binding, but only just. One small maneuver could shift everything in her favor. She walked to the study, pretending to ask Nathan a casual question about the Christmas party. He barely looked up, focused on his phone. Perfect. Timing was on her side. Elena sent a discreet message to Mr. Halvorsen, the family lawyer she had quietly built rapport with over the past weeks. The wording was subtle, almost polite, but it carried enough weight to set the wheels in motion. The lawyer knew she was aware of the deadlines and the loopholes Nathan had overlooked. Nathan continued to smile, unaware that Elena's calm exterior masked a storm. Every meeting he scheduled, every form he signed, every detail he boasted about was under her scrutiny. She cataloged it all with a quiet intensity, knowing exactly when to act. By the time the sun set over the mansion, the first legal domino was positioned. Elena poured herself a glass of wine, savoring the silence. This was just the beginning, and Nathan had no clue how close he was to losing everything. A single notification pinged on Elena's phone, a confirmation from the lawyer. One more step, and the entire inheritance would be hers to control, but Nathan still thought he was winning. The mansion felt heavier that evening. Elena Brooks moved through the halls with quiet confidence, every step measured, every glance calculated. Nathan Whitmore, in contrast, fidgeted with his phone and documents, unaware that the perfect storm was closing in. His calls became more urgent, his tone sharper, as he tried to confirm details with the family lawyer. But every message Elena had sent subtly nudged the legal gears, creating pressure he couldn't yet see. He glanced toward her, forcing a smile, but she only returned a serene, unreadable expression. Guests arriving for the pre-Christmas gathering marveled at her poise. but Elena's mind raced. She tracked every move, every slight misstep Nathan made, and mentally mapped the final sequence. Timing was everything. One wrong reaction from him, and the entire house of cards could tumble. Mira attempted to intervene, whispering advice to Nathan, but Elena noticed the subtle panic creeping into his face, the hesitation in his gestures. Her calm contrasted his escalating tension, a dance she led masterfully. By nightfall, the first visible cracks appeared. Nathan's charm faltered in small, almost imperceptible ways, while Elena's strategy silently gained momentum. Elena checked her phone in, a final confirmation from the lawyer. The next step would be public, irreservable, and Nathan had no idea it was coming. The morning of December 24th, the mansion glittered with holiday lights, but Elena Brooks felt nothing but sharp focus. Every smile she offered Nathan Whitmore was a mask, hiding the fact that she held the cards, and he had no idea. She walked into the study where he was reviewing documents, all his confidence on display, unaware of how precarious his position had become. Nathan glanced up, trying to charm her with a polite grin. She nodded, almost kindly, and slid the pen across the polished desk. "Here," she said softly. "Just sign these final forms before the Christmas gathering." Nathan hesitated briefly, then, thinking nothing of it, picked up the pen and signed. Elena watched him with calm eyes, knowing the ink carried more weight than he could imagine. That one signature, in the wrong order and at the wrong time, shifted the entire inheritance. Every clause she had studied, every loophole she had prepared, worked perfectly. Nathan had been so focused on appearances he didn't notice the trap closing around him. Elena allowed herself a faint smile, the taste of quiet victory on her lips. Elena placed the signed documents in the envelope, her eyes meeting Nathan's briefly. He smiled, unaware that his empire was already slipping from his hands. The sun rose over the Whitmore estate, casting a golden glow on the mansion, but inside, tension crackled in the air. Elena Brooks moved with composed grace, sipping her morning coffee, while Nathan Whitmore fumbled with the last-minute details of the inheritance meeting. Nathan's confidence was already shaky. Subtle hints from the lawyer, phrases Elena had carefully planted, had begun to gnaw at him. He forced smiles for the arriving family members, unaware that every slip he made had been anticipated. Elena observed silently, savoring each micro-expression of panic crossing his face. Mira hovered nearby, trying to reassure him, but even she could sense the shift. The carefully constructed facade of control Nathan relied on was crumbling. At the meeting, the lawyer spoke formally, presenting the documents in the order Elena had orchestrated. Nathan's eyes widened, as clauses he hadn't noticed took effect immediately, redistributing authority and ownership in ways he couldn't reverse. Gasps echoed softly through the room as family members noticed the sudden change. Nathan's jaw tightened. He glanced at Elena, who simply smiled calmly, sipping her coffee. He realized too late he had been outplayed in his own game. Elena's eyes met the lawyer's with a subtle nod. The final move was ready. Nathan had no idea that the last blow was coming before the day was over. By the afternoon of Christmas Day, the Whitmore mansion buzzed with polite conversations, laughter, and clinking glasses. But Nathan Whitmore's world had quietly unraveled. Elena Brooks moved through the room like a queen, composed, radiant, and untouchable. Family members whispered among themselves, glancing at the documents that had silently shifted power, authority, and wealth. Nathan's forced smiles faltered with every murmur. The realization hit him hard. He had underestimated her, and now he had lost. Elena approached the grand fireplace, where the lawyer subtly confirmed the final outcome with a nod. Mira's attempts to console Nathan fell flat. Even she could see the scale of the collapse. Elena didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Her calm presence, her strategic precision, and her quiet confidence were enough. Every calculated move, every observation, every patient step had led to this moment. Nathan had been outplayed in his own game, his arrogance exposed to high society on the grandest stage of all. Elena's smile was soft but victorious. She had taken control, not through anger, not through confrontation, but through intelligence, patience, and an unwavering understanding of the rules everyone else thought they could bend. Elena sipped her champagne, watching Nathan shrink into the background. One thought settled clearly. He had made a bet, but she had won everything that truly mattered. power, respect, and control.